when food and life meets Northgate. Starting?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Can I help you with something? I'm here enjoying my café de olla here at the Mercadito. Can I help you with something?
Yeah, I'm wondering what it tastes like.
Let's see. I haven't even sipped. Let's see.
It's too hot.
No, it's just right. I took off the cap and then I'm good. What are you drinking?
I'm drinking the lechero from El Moro.
Ooh. Okay, everybody. They know the drill. They know what's up. Okay. So why am I at Mercadito and who am I sitting next to? Well, these are good questions. I am here with Yvette from Northgate Market. This is very special for us. Like, literally, like to be Latinos here and to be in the, like, oh, you were asking me how I met Joshua. To be in a room where it's like the Latino family is getting the award, the recognition. It's pretty powerful. So this is a very special conversation we're going to have today with Yvette, representing on behalf of Northgate. But we're also going to get to learn a little bit more about Yvette.
Fun.
Okay. So I always ask everyone this question. Yvette's going to be like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? A ver. Okay, I know that you're representing Northgate, but there's obviously people, there's humans, there's lives, there's families behind these businesses, these families own businesses. So my question to you is like, Yvette, ¿Quién eres? Who are you?
Who am I?
Yeah, who are you?
I'm, let's see, that's very broad.
Let's have a sip of our café de olla.
I'm Latina, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm all those things amongst more things, yeah. If we were to think about Yvette, just roll with me here. Okay.
Yvette at 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
This question got asked a couple weeks ago too. There's something there.
There's something there. The inner child.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's that inner child.
Yeah.
Do you see some of her here with you today? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I have kids, so that inner child comes out a lot. My daughter's 10 now.
Oh my gosh, okay.
So, yeah, that 10.
You see a little bit of her in you?
See a little bit of her.
Oh.
Yeah, good and bad.
Well, Yvette is giving us a little bit of a tease today. She says that there's some really good tortas here.
There's great tortas.
Apparently. I am a fan of course, Northgate Market's like bolillo, where you make your own tortas here. You can make them with the carnitas or jamón y queso. But we're going to try some today, but we're going to sit and chat a little bit, and then we're going to go in and we're going to try these tortas which one is it?
They're from Chiva Tortas, and they're called tortas ahogadas. They're Guadalajara style.
Excited, yeah. So I'm going to work up my appetite here. But in the meantime, we have our café de olla to keep us warm and good. But we do always talk about food. Food is obviously such a great people get so excited when you mention any kind of food, and it's like their face lights up. We were talking about tortas earlier, and your face lit up too. Can you tell everybody about this torta that you've just exposed? Well, I haven't seen it myself, but this new torta way of eating tortas.
Oh yeah.
You want to tell people about this?
I was asking her if she's ever had a torta in a bag, essentially. I know. I think it's very common in Jalisco and like Los Altos de Jalisco, which is where my family's from.
She's from.
Oh, see? Yeah. So basically, you eat the torta in the bag, and no mess. Your fingers don't get dirty, and yeah, it's a thing.
That is, can you try it at home, or is it just
why
like
not?
yeah? I'm like, I think I'm gonna try that out actually. Ooh. And for you, so you mentioned obviously your family's from Mexico, right? And so it's only natural that like the food that you like how do you cook at home? Do you cook like Mexican food? Like what's sort of your
So my mom's Cuban.
Oh, yeah. I did not know that.
Yeah, and my dad's Mexican. So my mom did most of the cooking.
You have like the best of two worlds right there. Like you get to like
I know. A little
Oh,
So I
very
grew up eating more Cuban food, to be
Oh.
honest. The Mexican food I would have when I go to my grandparents' house and my grandma's house, we go every Tuesday.
Aww.
So I always look forward to that.
Okay, so I have a few Cuban buddies, and they say that because Cuban food is not necessarily spicy, would you say?
No.
No, no, no.
No, not
at all,
no.
right? So then you have Mexican food, which is, can
Yeah,
be spicy.
yeah.
So are you like, do you gravitate towards the Cuban food, or do you like try to?
You know what? I've been venturing more on the spicy.
Okay.
On the spicy, the older I'm getting for whatever reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not so much as a kid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now
but
you're
then
like-
I'd feel like intimidated because I'd feel like if I didn't like the spice, they're like, you're not Mexican enough.
That's
Yeah.
I've gotten that too.
Yeah.
Okay, then the torta cubana. Then do you
Oh, yeah.
like that?
Yeah, I love that. I
Oh,
love
okay.
that. Yeah.
So much meat.
I love that.
So many layers. Oh
Yeah.
my god, so good.
Or Cuban sandwich.
Oh,
Yeah. Have you had that?
I don't think I have then.
Oh.
Wait, what's a Cuban sandwich then? If it's not
It's like a pressed panini and it has like
Oh.
jamon, it has pickles, mustard, cheese.
So there's a place in LA that I think it closed down. It was called Café Tropical. Have you heard of this? Oh man, they had like the best. What was it? Nochebuena
Oh yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a
Nochebuena.
really
Yeah, it's
good,
another one.
good place. But are there any good Cuban places here in Orange County that you want to give a shout out to? Or
I mean, it's really hard to find a great one, but I mean, Portos is always great.
oh yeah,
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
casual, but yeah.
the balls, the meatballs. Oh,
yeah,
the
the
potato.
papa rellenas. Yeah.
Food of course is like is sort of the center of a lot of our conversations. I think food can be very nostalgic. Are there any foods that you grew up where you're now as a mom in your home? Like, is it something that you're like, you want to make sure you continue the tradition, or like there's certain cuisine that you're like, I want to expose my children to this, or I don't know, does anything come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, there's a Cuban dish called arroz con gris.
Okay.
In Spain, I think they call it moros con cristianos, and it's basically rice with beans, but you mix
Ooh.
beans so the rice turns black.
Ooh.
Yeah, and
yummy.
It's definitely like a comfort food for me.
Yes, I
Yeah.
was gonna say. Ooh.
So if you see me making it or eating it, something.
What's going on, Yvette?
We need to talk.
I love that you're sharing that. I think that sometimes there's guilt in like these comfort foods, but it's good to like be able to turn to this stuff and
Yeah.
be like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I'm having a day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we are here at El Moro. So we just had we ate it offline because we were hungry. So we had a churro already. But when I walked into the Mercadito, I was like, whoa, like this is not your typical Northgate.
No.
Like, no.
No.
You want to?
Yeah, no,
You want to talk
it's
about
not.
Mercadito that we're out here today?
Yeah, so it's the first of its kind. So it's our first concept store essentially for Northgate. So it's food hall meets grocery store. That's kind of
I like
the
that.
vibe.
That
So
totally makes sense. There was a comment that one of your family members said about this place about being like doing something that had never been done before.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm like, that is like music to my ears. Like, I'm all about like, let's do something
Yeah.
not done
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
Where, for your family and for you, like, where does that come from? That sort of, I don't know. It's like that. I always feel like big ideas and crazy ideas are the most honest ideas because there's something there people are afraid to do because it's never been done
Yeah.
before. But para ustedes, like, what do you think that
is.
sort of like,
that kind of fire.
yeah.
I honestly think it has a lot to do with my grandparents and my grandfather. And, he came here with nothing and created something. So it's just, I think it's that hunger
Yeah.
of just wanting to do better, be better. Yeah.
Possibility.
Yeah, the
Like
possibility.
literally there's
yeah.
possibility. Like I think, yeah, you're right. Your grandfather built something out of nothing, and then your whole family's like, wait,
Yeah.
if we actually like have an idea and we persevere for it,
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
And we came here on a Friday night, y'all. Like a Friday
Yeah,
night.
That's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Like, so Anna and I wanted to come for like a date night, and so we came here to get a churro and Mexican hot chocolate, and we were walking around and we're like, it's like there's a bar in there. There's like an outside area.
Yeah.
It's and then what really was really cool is that there was all kinds of people here.
Oh yeah,
can we talk about that?
That's my favorite part. That's my favorite part. Seeing all different walks of life, nationalities, families, couples, single. Like it's just everyone comes, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
To see a place gather.
It's like it's almost like the culture that you've created here transcends like your own background. It's like there's just this sort of genuine, like even right now when I walk to the where the puestos are, it just, for me, like as a Mexican American, like to see like the music and like even some of the imagery of like older Mexican singers and artists, it's like, oh my gosh, like, so for us it's like you're bringing that culture to, like we feel our culture.
Yeah, and you feel like proud.
Yeah, and you feel proud.
Yeah, because for some time and not that long ago, you couldn't really feel proud.
No.
It was kind of looked down upon, right?
Ooh, let's talk about that. What is that what is that proudness? Where do you think it like, where did it break through, you think? Because you're right, there was a lot of like shame and
Yeah, I mean, I remember as a kid going to restaurants, for example, and then my dad would be like, we don't speak Spanish here.
Oh.
You know, like don't speak Spanish here. Like, we can't let people know that. Yeah, and it was just kind of like stigma. And it was, as a kid, you're like, what?
Shame, right?
Yeah.
You're like, wait, what? Like, this is a part of who we are.
Yeah, so to showcase this the way we have, and it's a very incredible feeling.
And it's interesting to hear that, because it's like when people see these innovative spaces and what you're creating, it comes more than likely it comes from places where it's like you wanted to break a barrier, you wanted to figure something out, and so that's just so everyone knows. Like I feel like that's when you see these like crazy ideas, you're like, oh, there was something there on a human level that, you know. So for you now, like you walk in here and you're like, how do you feel like being part of the family and being a part of this?
Just like, so proud. Yeah, and just I walk in here every day feeling that.
She was in there like saying hi to everybody. I was like, okay, like that's really cool that you can like connect with everybody that's here, that's making it all happen.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Talking about like families, you talked about like, let's talk a little bit about Northgate, the original, the OG Northgate, because I think like the business development there and connecting with communities and families, like it's kind of no-brainer that this is working, that there's this connection here. And I know you weren't there when it was incepted, but I'm sure you've heard stories, right?
1980, by the way. 1980.
Yeah. give us some I guess families' history here, or stories, like from what we've read, it started as a liquor store, or they took it.
So what prompted my grandfather to come here from Mexico was he was actually a shoemaker. So he's in the shoemaking cobbler business. And one night his shop basically caught on fire and burned down. So it was gone. So he had to make a choice, you know, what to do. And he went to Mexico City. It didn't pan out. And so then he had the opportunity to come here. And that's kind of what happened. He worked as a dishwasher at the Biltmore Hotel in LA, and then had the opportunity to purchase a little corner liquor store off Anaheim Boulevard in Anaheim, and bought it. It started as a liquor store. There was one night where there was a robbery with guns and things. And and so after that, my grandma was like, we're done, no more liquor. We're not selling the liquor anymore. So got rid of the liquor, and that's when the produce came in and all that. So it turned a liquor store to bodega, and then changed bodega to grocery store, and that's kind of how it started.
Did your grandfather, and I guess your grandmother, because she's obviously just as important in this story, right? Did they realize at the time the connection they would make with Latinos here? Because the truth is like you walk into Ralph's or an Albertsons and it's just like, it's not the same. It's not the same feeling. But to walk into a Northgate Market, it's like, oh, you feel like you're home. Like
I don't think originally that's what they set out but I think it turned into that because I think they wanted to feel
their own,
and bring home in some sort of way, and that's how, Okay,
not to get cheesy here, but I do get a little cheesy here, but I think that's like I don't know if you recognize, like, that's really cool. It's like, you asked me earlier, like, oh, you were worried about, like, she's so brave, by the way. Like, we literally met this morning. Like, thanks, Joshua. Shout out, right?
I don't know what I'm getting into.
But just like your lived experience, right? And like what it is that what you're looking for, what you're looking to change, or what you're looking to experience, like, can lend itself to the work you do. And I think your grandfather, without even, like you said, without even really seeing how what his own desires would really affect how, like, so many like him needed that. And so I think that's
and still do.
So how do you feel like in your own experience, like, in, you also have your own lived experiences, like, how do you lend yourself to the work you're doing with Northgate, with the community? Like, what about you? What's your fire, Yvette, that, like, gets you out there?
I think it's that same feeling. It's just, showcasing our culture and in such a grand way, and how the response we've gotten here has been incredible. It's still like, wow. It's just that proudness, like that. Yeah.
Was there, you mentioned when you were young, when you were like, oh, like, even same here with my family, it's like, you gotta just not blend in, but you gotta, like, where was there a moment in your youth? I don't know if it was like in your young adult or teenage. Was there a moment where you, like, started to be like, wait, no, like, I am proud to be Latina? Like, was there something that comes to mind? That transition of, like, wait, I'm taking this back. Like, I don't know what comes to mind.
I think it was teenage. Yeah. I was a teenager. Because I felt like, and I don't know if you felt like this because you're from two different backgrounds too. Yeah. I felt like I had to be a chameleon sometimes. Yes. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah. When I was with my Cuban family, I felt so Cuban. When I was with my Mexican family, I felt so Mexican. Yeah. But then, I was born here. I'm American. Yeah. So, yeah.
How can you explain or describe how you bring yourself to your world today? Like, I can tell you bring your whole self to, you're a mother, you're Cuban, you're, you're Mexican, like, you're all these things. Like, how would you describe how you bring that all forth? Like, is it about not hiding certain things? Like, I don't know what
I mean, I think it's still a struggle, because it's still that innate kind of, we were talking about this earlier. Yeah. Just like we don't talk about that. Like, let's shove it under the rug. Let's move on. But then I got to a point in my life where I'm like, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work. Like, we need to be able to talk about it's okay.
Yeah. So you sound like you're somebody, there's always people in families that are the cycle breakers.
Yeah, I feel it.
You feel that way? Yeah. Oh, this is good. I'm glad. We're in good company. For me, I grew up Latina, and I grew up in a city that didn't have a lot of people like me. And so I've always been very honest about trying to, like, search for my roots, because, we'd go to Mexico and visit my family, and then I'd come back and it was like I couldn't talk about any of the food.
Would you go in the summers?
I'd go in the summers, Christmas, like, that was our vacations. And so for me, like, I did make a choice in college to be like, I joined, like, Hermanas Unidas, like Jose Fullerton. Like, I really wanted to really get to know other people that I could relate to, and thankfully I've met some really great friends. And my question to you is, like, another part of it is the intersectionality for me is, like, being queer, right? So it's like, and so what I find now is, like, what I'm trying to do, because it is a battle, is I'm trying to kind of show up in spaces and be like, if I want to say something about something, demand the space. I'm like, I'm going to say something about that, because maybe they don't have an eye, they don't understand that, and so I can maybe bring context, I can bring perspective. That's I feel like that's the only way I can try to every day be as authentic. Is, well, I'm not going to hide this part of myself. Like, this is important
because it's who you are.
It's who I am. Yeah. So you get it. And the thing with Latinos too, about, like, we were talking about earlier, about we don't talk about those things.
We don't talk about Bruno.
We're going to talk about Bruno.
Always talk about Bruno.
Always talk about. I was literally just having a conversation with my mother about how, and it's so cool. Like, I don't know if you have these conversations with your parents, but I'm in that stage where I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to reflect and I want to discuss with my parents like what it was growing up. And it's not to like point fingers, but it's also like, hey, what did I learn from my experience with you? And then what can I carry on with my children? And so when I asked you, I'm like, you're a mom, right? And you're like, yeah. So this is going to be good. Yeah, you're already nodding. Yeah. So. I guess that's my first question is like, you're a mom now. And like you said, we don't talk about Bruno. Like, these are things that you've learned. It's like, as a mom, like, how do you carry that sort of approach in the way you parent? Now, I know your kids are probably young, but is there something that you kind of like tell yourself or like an anthem for yourself as a mother?
Ooh, an anthem. That's a good one. I just, honestly, I'm as open as I can be with them. And I hope that translates to them to be open back. Because I do talk about Bruno with them, so and it's okay.
And how do they react to you talking about Bruno, if you will? Like, how are they when they're
super
receptive?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oof. So you guys talk about feelings too?
Talk about feelings.
Ooh. Can we talk about that right now? About feelings?
Yeah.
Okay, so we probably grew up where feelings were suppressed.
Yeah,
like, oh, that's me, that's me, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Everything's good. And now I recognize, I'm like, yeah, that didn't really help me.
Yeah. No.
So how did you grow up? Was it about your feelings? Were they open to you talking about your feelings or
no
understanding them?
Not really.
When did you realize for yourself, you're like, wait, I do need to acknowledge my feelings. Like, I do need to process them. Like, for you, when did that happen for you?
So that's, okay, so...
That's like Jackie.
I feel like I can pinpoint, actually.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was, I would say in the year...
You're like, last week.
I was 8 years old. No, 2021.
Okay.
2021.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went through a separation, and that kind of brought up a lot for me. And a lot of it was this. Everything I suppressed, everything was just there, showing up in my face. So yeah.
So that's tough. It's tough to see that all, right? You're seeing it all there. What helped you not run away from it? Like, what helped you be like, no, I got to sit with this?
Oh, I sat with it. I sat with it like a good year. Yeah. I think you just have to sometimes, you can't run away. It's going to catch up. So.
You hear that? It will.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid, right? It's like, because I'm assuming now you feel like, how do you feel now that you've done the work?
I'm not like apologizing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm just, like we were saying, like it's part of who I am, and learning from it.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Do you feel liberated?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Yeah.
And you did it yourself. Like, I have a friend that told me, she's like, you can blame a lot of people for your, but at the end of the day, it's like you're the one that's going to self-liberate yourself. Like, that is the most powerful thing. And do you feel that that's part of what feels so great about what you've done?
Yeah. I also feel like being a mom is part of it, but also being the oldest female in my family is a whole other...
Is that another Encanto reference? Do we want to reference
actually,
the pressure?
Encanto's just
the pressure?
Yeah, the pressure.
Under pressure? We love the donkeys.
It's so funny, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, right? It sounds like that's similar.
No, but, I mean, that movie nailed it.
It did, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of pressure. And now you're relieving the pressure. What do you kind of like, I don't know, I'm not a mom yet and I'm really cheesy, but I feel like there's going to be like an anthem in my head. And I do want to see if you do have like an anthem, like when you're struggling, because everything is a challenge, nothing's easy, but when you're in moments of challenge where maybe things come up where you're like, oh my God, am I acting like how I was treated with, because it's hard to make the cycle breaking.
Yeah.
And there's going to be moments where like it's easier to just be like, oh, this is what I how I grew up, but I gotta change it. Like, is there a moment in your head or something in your head that pops up that's like, no, Yvette, okay, we gotta...
No, yeah.
Well,
I'm very conscious of it, so I know when it's happening. So I have to kind of remove myself for a second and like, reassess. You know, I mean, there's times where I'm just like, you know what,
it's too hard. It's too hard.
But
it's work. It's work.
Yeah.
But you're doing it. I mean. I always ask moms this. I don't know how you, and I always get different responses. So I'm like, okay, here we go.
Okay.
So when you find out you're a mom, whatever way that is, in the technical level, you were like, wait, I think I'm pregnant. Is there sort of like a switch where you're like, do you feel like a completely different person, or you just don't really feel that until you see your child? But what was that moment when you found out you were going to be a mom? Like,
I mean, when I found out I was pregnant, it was definitely a surprise.
Oh, okay.
It was not planned. It was like, it was like, yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't feel it because I was dealing with the
shock of it.
The shock and kind of, I wasn't married, so kind of that feeling too of I don't want to say the shame of it.
I know, but the judgment that unfortunately other generations put on that.
So I was dealing a lot of that, with a lot of that during the pregnancy. So for me, that moment didn't come until I actually saw her. So.
And what was that like? What was it like seeing your child?
Because it was kind of like, did that just happen? Is this happening? Is this real life? It's a hard moment to describe. And I think until you go through it. Yeah.
Somebody once told me, they're like, oh, it's hard to describe something. And I'm like, sometimes when there's really powerful, intimate things that happen like that, maybe they're so hard to describe because they're so uniquely for you, And so that makes sense that until I experience that, then I'll know. Do you feel like the person you were before you're a mom? Like, does it feel like another person? Like, does it feel like, I guess one thing that I'm scared of is like when I become a mother, am I, quiet on the set. One thing I'm worried about is like, am I gonna like forget who I was? Like, is that silly? Like,
no, it's not silly. It's not silly. I feel like some people can forget. I think a lot of moms forget who they are, and they and that's kind of what I was saying about being the oldest female in this family. Like, you try to make everyone else happy. And I realized in that 2021 year, shout out 2021.
Shout out.
Just that feeling of you need to make yourself happy too. So I think first, actually, it's the whole, when you're on an airplane, the oxygen, you gotta do it mask, like first. You do it, you put on yourself first.
I have a lot of questions, you know why? Because I'm in a space where 2021 was also, the last few years have been very significant in me reflecting and understanding like, why have I behaved a certain way, and how I want to like really shift and making sure that I'm happy for myself, not for other people, that I'm making other people happy, that I'm making sure that I am. And so right now I'm just in a very awareness space. And I can be impatient sometimes. So Anna's always like, it takes time. Like you've been doing this for so long. And so for me, I've been asking people like, how do you even practice getting towards a space where you're really loving yourself, that you're validating yourself, that it's like the inside, that part where you're like, no, I'm good. Like the external world can be chaotic or whatever, but yo estoy bien.
Yeah.
Like how do you get there?
I think, to be honest, I'm very big on meditation.
Okay.
And I think that helps a lot to kind of like center you and like listen to that inner voice.
I hear that a lot. I guess I'm going to have to start really meditating because that's like
I mean, it takes a little bit to get into because at first you're in your head a lot.
Yes. You're in your head a lot. And sometimes not so good.
Yeah, a lot.
Oof.
But that's helped me kind of listen to that. Yeah.
Do you like spending time like alone with yourself?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. My biggest fear growing up, for whatever reason, was being alone. But I've overcome that feeling, because I'm okay with who I am and how I come.
Oof.
How all the things
that you are
that I am. Yeah.
We'll keep working on it, Jackie. But this is great. It's good. It definitely is nice to hear your story and that you're able to do that. I think a lot of it is like that idea of like being alone and really, I've heard people saying like, you know, really forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
In the younger iterations of yourself, like the things you did. Like, did that come into play with you too? Like forgiveness?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely.
What did that look like? Was it a matter of like, you're literally having conversations where you're journaling? Like, how do you actually like make that work? Like,
yeah, journaling, definitely. It's just, I don't know, just sitting with yourself and just things come up.
yeah.
And just acknowledging and just forgiving yourself and who you were in those moments. Mm-hmm. But it's also like the person you are today because of it at the same time.
Right. So
it's kind of like forgiving, but like giving the thumbs up.
Thumbs
up.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oof. Oof. Okay, so I know one of the things we wanted to talk about was like making an impact in this world, like making change. Y'all are obviously making change here with the business, but you on a personal level, is there anything that you, I don't know, is there something in that you, Yvette, want to make a change in this world or bring awareness to? Like, I don't know, something.
For me, it's empowering women. Mm-hmm. So that's the
She's
change
doing it right here, y'all.
I
love that. Yeah. Well, you being vulnerable with us today and sharing your story, I think is, people really underestimate. It's like, man, like everybody thinks everybody's good, and it's like, you know, we all have our stuff that we're going through. So I really appreciate you opening up, because even with some other stuff that I like, I won't go into too much detail, but like fertility stuff, like hearing more stories of other people, and you're just like, oh wow, I'm like, you just don't feel alone. And I can't describe it any other way. It sounds so cheesy when you're just like, oh, I don't feel alone, but it's like, it's almost like you feel like, I don't know, you just feel connected with people. And then you realize like, man, like I'm going to be okay. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah.
The feeling.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way with other, like when you, because people who empower other people need to be empowered too. Like, do you have any like mentors or people that have empowered you?
I can't like think of someone.
No, you're good. I'm all you.
I mean, I was going to say, but that sounds really weird. No.
Well, let's just see how it sounds. Let's just go with it. And then if you don't like the answer, but let's go with it.
Okay.
Because I think that goes back to what you're saying about self-love. Like if you can see yourself the way other people see you, like, wow, that's, Anna tells me that all the time. She's like, oh, and other people that I get insecure and they're like, oh, I wish you can see me the way I see you. And I'm just like, that's hard. But if you've already like, you can see yourself in that way, that's really a beautiful thing, I think.
But it's taken time. Like it's taken work. And I feel like, just to like get into relationships too. Yeah. I feel like if you don't come whole in a way, like with who you are, it's really hard to come into a space with someone else where maybe they're not feeling whole themselves, and it's kind of like you're trying to fill a space or a void in each other.
Yes.
So, at least in my experience, like that's how it's been for me. But this time I'm showing up differently. But because I've done the inner
it makes
stuff.
Total sense. Like I remember when I met her, I was at that point in my life, I had done some work, and when I met her, I was like, I'm excited to share who I am with her. Like it wasn't like this is gonna sound like people think it's like bragging, but it's like no, it's like self-confidence. Like for me, it was like, oh, like I'm gonna show her like I'm proud of who I am. Like I'm showing up and I'm happy to be like, this is my story. This is who I am. Like, and I was just as interested in hearing her story. Yeah. And it wasn't like this thing of like trying to fit. It's like, well, we're together and we're sharing this. So I definitely I think that is what makes a healthy relationship, because it's how you see yourself, and then you're carrying yourself that way.
And how you show up in that relationship.
So I'm excited for you.
It's so important.
Yeah. I'm sure it's like life-changing.
Yeah.
It's life-changing.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I feel like growing up, like my parents didn't teach me anything about relationships.
No.
It was just like, he has to be a Catholic boy,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I'm like, that is not going to work for me.
Yeah.
We're almost done wrapping up, and then we can go do the tortas. But we're getting into some good stuff here, so we are.
Yeah.
Really are.
I didn't know it was going to lead here, but I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, yeah, we can sit here and talk about like the business, which we did, but for me, it's like more of the human side. It's like what are the things that make people compelled to do things, and how do they carry themselves, and you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
no, I know.
That's, to me, is more fascinating. But, so thank you.
Me too.
Oh my God! So we were just saying something really quick. You were saying something. We were on the brink of something. You were talking about relationships and how you care. Oh yeah, parents, like how people, like when you're growing up, they don't really give you advice on like what kind of partner you want in your life and what kind of relationship you want to have, communication and all that stuff. Like,
no. I will say I was in a lot of wrong relationships for a while. Yeah.
Do you feel like had your parents, or had not even parents, but like any kind of guidance of like what kind of relationship? Because all we really see is like TV. You know, growing up, you see TV, or you see, you know, like, because your parents don't really talk to you about like what.
No, they never. I mean, it wasn't talked about really. No, it was just more of seeing how they were.
Yeah,
is more of like the visual of it,
right?
But yeah, not like this is how. No. And I hope to do that with my kids.
Yeah.
Like, not only show them, but also describe and talk and why. And,
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be life-changing. See, that's... I love telenovelas, and I now as an adult, I'm like, why was I so... And I think part of why I loved it was about telenovelas is because they were so expressive about their feelings.
Yeah.
Because at home we didn't, you know, so I'm like, oh, they're really showing how they feel.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn anything about relationships. Like, it was all drama. Like, it was like, oh. But then now... I'm in a place, like I said, I talk to my parent. I'm pretty like open about my parents, like asking about like, what is how was that relationship? And one of the things my mom and I talked about was, I was like, when they were growing up, so my mom met my dad in the early 80s.
Here?
No, they met in Ensenada.
Oh,
we were going to live in Mexico, and my dad, love you, Dad, but he was like, he tried to get a job out here, and he did. He got a job in the U.S. So my mom was like, what?
But your dad lived
in Ensenada.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so they met in Ensenada, and they got married in Ensenada, and then he sent his resume out here. He's an engineer, and so he sent a resume out, and he got a job out here. We were all born in Texas, so yeah, random.
So your dad's Mexican?
And my mom and my dad are Mexican, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was like kind of Chicana, because she lived in LA and Mexico. Like her dad liked to just pick up and go and then go back, and my mom was like, this is like not. So that was something she broke, a cycle she broke. She was like, I want some more stability for my family.
Lay roots somewhere.
So but yeah, so my life could have been a lot different, but I'm happy where I am. It all worked out. But I asked her, I was like, did you ever think about like friendship with your partner? And she's like, honestly, no. It was just like, you meet a man and he's going to take care of you and you're going to have a family. But like the idea of like actually having like a friendship or connection with someone. Which is so important. Which is like, what? Why would you not?
Yeah. No,
right? Yeah. Isn't that bizarre?
Yeah. It's like that, what they say, like marry your best friend. Like seriously.
Literally. Like, yeah. Because you're going to literally, you need a friendship at the core of a relationship. Even my friendships, I take them like my really close friendships. I'm like, they're relationships, so you have to nurture them and the whole thing. Pero pues, we learn on our own, and then we can teach our children all that good stuff. Oh. Have your kids ever said anything to you? Like anything where you're just like, damn, I'm doing a good job. Like, have they ever said anything to you that sticks out, and you're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's been moments like that, because also as a mom, you also feel like you're failing all the time at the same time. Yeah. Even though you're like, oh, I'm doing great, but no, I'm failing too. A
lot to look forward to. I'm just kidding.
So much.
So much.
But no, there's moments where I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm not doing that bad of a job. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, from what you're telling me, I love that you're learning from your experience and being like, okay, how can my children have a more richer experience, you know? And I know that like our parents did the best they could with what they had, you know? I think one thing that gets me excited is this idea of just cultivating your own traditions, your own roots in your own way. Because like you said, you're showing up as you. So it's like, you get to do that. So is there any traditions or anything that you're doing in your home that you're like, that you branded like Yvette's new tradition? Like, does anything come to mind?
Actually one thing comes to mind. I do take a trip with them, just the three of us, every year. So
I love that.
Yeah,
where have you been?
I'll let them pick.
Oh,
so like my daughter Sophia,
cute.
Last year, her dream was always to go to Hawaii.
Oh my God.
So we went to
cool.
Kauai last summer. It was really fun.
Beautiful.
Luca, my 6-year-old, on the other hand.
Luca, what a beautiful name.
Yeah.
I like that.
He's more adventurous in the sense where he already told all his friends his summer plans, and which is not what's
not happening.
Like apparently we're going to Japan, and then we're going to hit up Paris, and then New York, and then I don't know what else he's doing there.
I love it.
So the parents came up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I heard you're having this amazing summer trip." I'm like,
Are we?
Are we? But
I love how he's telling everybody.
I know. He's hilarious.
So are you going anywhere this year, or were you excited?
We're New York.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
Love New York. Yeah.
So that's the Yvette brand.
I love that.
So do a trip with them every year.
I'm all noted.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm getting pretty hungry for this torta.
Do
You
it.
think it's time? Oh, I don't have my phone. What time is it?
10:27.
You think we'll be ready for this torta?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go try this torta. See if it's really that good. That's what she's saying.
It's great.
She said it's great.
Excellent.
Excellent. Okay, pues, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go. We're gonna finally try these tortas, okay? A ver, ven. Behind the scenes. Behind the scenes. Where are we right now?
So we're inside the Mercado at Chiva Torta with Alex, and he's going to talk and walk you through what is a torta ahogada.
Ooh. Okay.
So I'm going to hand over the mic here.
Gracias.
Are you up for the challenge?
Yeah, let's do it.
Te ayudo.
A ver.
A ver, Alex. There you go.
Ahí está. Okay.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Okay. Tortas ahogadas.
Tortas ahogadas.
These are drowned tortas.
Drowned tortas, tortas ahogadas, straight from Jalisco.
Ooh.
So,
oh yeah, she's from
Torta ahogada, virote salado con frijolitos, carnitas bañada en salsa y chile y cebolla curtida encima.
Ooh.
¿Qué más quieres?
No,
¿Qué
no,
más
no.
quieres?
Así. Y también you do it in spicy, right? You do
Yeah,
spicy.
so there's
medium.
levels. There's spicy, medium, mild o sin chile. Yeah, si no comes nada de chile, también te la hacemos
So
sin picante.
make sure Yvette's is very spicy, like the
No.
spiciest.
Y ve, dice, yo no. Nice.
Yo mediano, yo medium.
Medianita.
Yeah, I think I
y
can do that.
con cebolla, con todo. ¿Cómo va,
Yo con
verdad?
todo.
¿Cómo va?
¿Cómo va?
Perfecto.
¿Te podemos acompañar?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Follow me,
medium.
guys.
All right, go for it, Alex.
Ok. Ahí está, mira. Ponemos los frijolitos.
A ver, primero quiero ver el pan.
El pan, mira.
No te apures, a ver.
All right, let me know.
Ooh, okay, and then open it. Open the bread. Lo de adentro también
Mira
importa.
nomás. Yeah,
Mira.
el migajón.
Okay, ya, los frijoles ya.
Los frijolitos.
A ver.
Ahí está, mira.
A ver. Oof. You can hear like the crunch of the bread. Uf,
Ya ves,
uf,
tiene
uf.
que estar doradito
Sí,
para que aguante lo.
doradito. Que
la
aguanta.
sauce.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Ok.
Uf.
On to the next step.
Okay, next step, what is it? Oh,
Carnitas.
Las carnitas. A ver.
Ahí está.
A ver, let me get in there. Ooh, oh my goodness.
The breakfast of champions right here. Una tortita
Oh,
ahogada.
breakfast of champions.
In the morning.
A ver, Alex, what do you do? Do you do the spicy?
No, I do it.
¿De veras?
I do it poquito chile because I have to get back to work as soon as I'm done eating. So I
fair.
cannot go all out with these. Ahí está, okay.
Y carnitas, is that like the meat of choice? Is that
Yeah,
sort of
so las tortas ahogadas son de carnitas originalmente. That's how they originally are eaten in Jalisco. But right here, for the sake of all the people that live around here, sometimes they don't eat pork, so we have to have other meat options for them.
Yeah. A mí me encantan las carnitas. So we are good.
We're in the same boat.
Okay, a ver.
Okay, so esta es la salsa de tomate.
Okay.
Y este es el chile de árbol.
Okay.
Two sauces that we use.
A ver.
Ahí está, mira.
Oh, you're literally gonna dunk it. Oh my God.
Ahí está, first half.
First half. Oh my goodness.
Ahí está, mira. Look at that.
Ya estoy lista, dame. No te creas.
This is gonna be yours, okay?
Okay.
So mira como cebollita normal onion.
Okay.
Light, ¿cómo te gusta?
Así está
Ahí
bien.
está perfect.
Sí, está bien.
Okay. Luego le echamos la spicy sauce.
Oh, y luego the spicy sauce.
Look at that.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And to top it off, a little bit more tomato. Porque no son ahogadas nomás por ser ahogadas. ¿Eh? There you go.
Beautiful.
Le ponemos la first one.
Wow.
Vámonos con la second one.
A ver. ¿Y para ti las tortas son tus favoritos o qué? ¿O, o tacos? Are you a taco guy?
Well, trato de variarle, pero prefiero la torta que los tacos.
Sí, ¿verdad?
Lo mismo diario, so.
Ok, quiero tu opinión. ¿Qué opinas de las tortas de jamón y queso?
I like those too.
Right? People underestimate them.
I like those.
They're just
They're
good.
simple and it's just.
¿Verdad? Pero
Ahí
le
está.
pones aguacate,
Con todo,
frijoles.
bien adornada.
Sí, así
bien
es.
adornada.
Así es.
Ahí está, mira.
Pero también las tortas como desayuno como con huevo y chorizo.
Ya,
También.
ya,
O sea,
de todo. And I'm sure you've tried the best tortas around.
I'm trying. I don't know that so for me, my favorite ones are the ones in Mexico, porque no hay como allá. Pero so I'm still on a hunt. Pero a ver si hoy, a ver cómo me siento hoy con
nomás.
estos.
You're gonna love these. This is something different.
Okay.
Ahí está, mira. Esta es de Yvette, sin picante. Look at that beauty.
Wow. Beautiful. Okay.
Ahí está. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you,
And we hope
Alex.
to see you here soon.
Where is this? Where are you? What is
Estamos en el Mercado, 2300 Harbor Boulevard, Costa Mesa, California.
Woo!
En el Mercado González. Aquí los esperamos.
Gracias. A comer, ¿no?
A comer, se ha dicho. Enough talking.
Enough talking, yeah.
Enough talking.
Okay, Alex prepared some really good tortas for us, so we're gonna now we're gonna get to eat them.
Yep.
We get to try them. Okay, so
Dig in.
how do you
Eat this?
how do you eat this?
So technically, you kind of eat it like, you kind of cut into it.
Oh my goodness.
The ahogada part, so the salsa kind of goes into the bread and makes it a little easier to cut.
Okay, I have a challenging question because I don't know if you know this, but I'm just curious. Do you know why they started to do tortas ahogadas? Like why? Like there was always tortas, but then they started.
Part?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know why. Want me to ask Alex?
Woo. Oh yeah,
It's spicy, no?
it's spicy.
Uh-huh.
You're like, yep, this.
Yes.
That's a bit spicy, but a lot of flavor. I like that you can still taste the crunch of the bread at the same time. Like it's not super soggy. It's and carnitas are so good, but it's got a bit of a kick.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah, you know exactly, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no spice for Yvette. None. And I'm like,
I already know.
yeah. I'm like, oh man. Dios mío. Hang on. I need. You know what?
You want a drink? Do you want a drink?
Oh, I'll get a drink. But you know what? Let's try with the lime. Maybe the lime will help.
Oh, let's do
that. I bet. Let's see if the lime. Maybe that will lessen the.
That should balance it out.
Oh yeah. Okay, let's try it. Oh. Sometimes I try to be really tough and ambitious with the spice and. Okay, yeah, that helps. That helps. Yeah.
You did medium, no? Medium?
Medium, yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, good luck, Jackie. I was asking him, like, what is your opinion about tortas de jamón y queso? He's like, those are good, because nobody really talks about them. I'm like, those are good. And the queso fresco, oh man, that really makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like,
and the crema too. Like
the crema. What kind of crema? Do you use like crema mexicana?
I use Northgate brand.
Oh, do you? Northgate brand? You're like Northgate brand.
Always.
Well, we on Easter with my family, we make tortas. So we like go to Northgate and get the carnitas and the tortas, and we make them on the comal. And so so my sister's like, you have to put mayo on the bread
First?
Yeah, and then before you put it on the grill, and then it melts. But some people also use butter.
Yeah, I've seen the butter.
Do you? I don't have a preference, but I'm like,
I've done the butter.
It's good, right?
Yeah. I haven't.
Because I know in Mexico they do put like, I think they use butter. I think they like slap it on, and they're like on both sides.
But I don't know. Never
with mayo with that.
Mayo. But I mean,
all right. Well, we'll see if anybody knows.
Well, I mean, yeah. Let's see.
But she's like, you got to put mayo, and I was like, really?
Maybe it is a thing.
Maybe it's her thing. I was like, I don't know. Oh, this is delicious. Okay, let's see it. Let's take another bite.
What are you up to?
Let's see. I'm getting more of the bread. Yeah, that's my favorite.
I'm okay.
I'm good. Woo. It's just like clearing my sinus. It's just. Woo.
Get you water?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, let me go get her water.
Yeah, sorry. It's spicy. Yours is gonna be spicy. It's good though.
Do you want to take the top off?
Oh yeah, I probably should.
Cheers.
Cheers, Yvette saving the day. Whew. Oh my goodness. Have you ever had the spicy ever?
No, I don't venture into, because I already know his spice level.
I'm like, woo.
But if you're brave and love it, definitely try it.
Yeah, if you like spicy, I wonder, I know he's a chile de árbol, right? But I wonder,
Chile de árbol, yeah.
But I didn't know it could get that spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I didn't know that. I'm like, because your mom makes that, no? Your mom makes a salsa, but it never tastes this hot. Whew. Maybe some habanero or something in there.
So how'd you guys meet?
Ooh. Oh, well, the tables are turned here. Okay, here we go. She's asking me questions now.
Now the interviewee.
The interviewee becomes the interviewer. Or the interviewer becomes the interviewee. Yeah. Right? Yeah.
It's like hot ones. You're like sweating, and she's like,
I know, right? I'm all, yeah. Asking me that. So we met. I moved back to Orange County. I was living in LA, and I moved back for a job. And I knew that I had to make friends. Like I wanted to create a community, but all my friends had already moved out. And so I did this thing called Meetup. I'm a big believer of Meetup. I don't know if you've heard of Meetup. It might be like...
Is it like for friends?
It's like to meet friends, yeah.
Like to meet people, make friends.
To make friends, things that you're interested in.
Yeah.
So I went to one that she...
hosted?
That she hosted, and she wrote it like really, it was very intrigued. I was like, oh, it was at an art walk. Cool. And so I go, and she knows everybody because it's like a group that kind of like gets together, and I didn't know anybody. But for me, I'm like, oh, this is perfect. I'm like, I'm gonna show up as myself. Like I had meeting someone. I was just like, I just want to meet people. Like, and
I feel like that's when you meet.
Right?
So, yeah, when you're not actively looking.
I was not.
Yeah.
And then I met this girl who. She would like make jokes throughout the night, and I was like, oh, she's funny.
Yeah.
And there was one joke that she made. Maybe it's not funny to other people, but I was trying to be, opening the doors for people because I'm trying to, connect or whatever. So like opening the door, and she's like, we're not going to tip you, or she made some joke like that. I was like, oh, really? You're not? Oh, okay. And then she bought a record and she needed cash, and she's like, can I borrow some money? And I was like, yeah, sure. And she's like, no, I'll buy you coffee. And so at the end of the art walk, we sat down like this and had coffee, and then we finally got to like see each other and talk to each other. And then realized like we actually worked in the same industry and all this stuff. And we just like,
And when was that?
That was in 2016.
Okay.
And then I slid into her DMs.
Okay.
A few days later, because I was like, I was still thinking about her, and I was like, there was a freshness to her. Like I liked that she knew who she. I don't know. I could tell that she knew who she was. She liked what she liked, and I thought that was really it was appealing.
Yeah.
So I slid into her DMs, and she immediately gave me her number, pretty close, pretty soon after. And the rest is just the rest is history.
Oh,
Yeah, we got
great.
married in 2022.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and now we're like building a business, and we're building a family, hopefully.
Aw.
So a lot of good things coming, hopefully.
That's awesome.
So that's me answering your question. I'm not used to being on the other side.
No?
No. But good question. Yeah. Good question. Well, we're gonna keep eating this. I'm gonna keep drinking the water because it's spicy. little bit of both. But thank you so much for sharing your story with us, to like opening up about your story, because like I said, we're all going through it and we all can support each other, and so I think it's really cool, Yvette. Thank you for this torta.
You're welcome.
And
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. This means a lot to us. So congratulations on Mercadito.
Thank you.
We can't wait for amazing many things that you and your family will be doing. So
Yeah,
are you excited?
Stay tuned.
Oh, I was like, okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay, pues we'll stay tuned. Cheers.
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 Salud.
Salud.